Hello, my name is Mike Colaswano, and this is my third project for Science and Technology in Ancient Greece and Rome with Professor Connolly. For my final project, I decided to make a model of an ancient Roman oven. This specific type of oven has several names, including a Klebanus and a Testum. These ovens were most likely made out of clay and then fired at high temperatures of around 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius until they became firm enough for everyday use. For my model, I am using 3 separate terracotta pieces to form an oven which I believe closely resembles a Roman Klebanus. The foundation of my oven is made from a terracotta saucer, followed by the lid, which is made by a dome-shaped terracotta pot, which fits right into the saucer to form a closed seal. Finally, to cover the hole in the top of the oven and control the amount of heat and steam that is allowed to escape, I'm using a smaller terracotta saucer that will be placed directly above the pot.
Now it's time to put my Roman oven to the test. And what better way of doing this than by baking some bread in it? To start off, I put together a basic bread dough made from flour, water, yeast, olive oil, and a pinch of salt, all ingredients the Romans likely had. I then let the dough rise for several hours and then prepared to place it in the oven. To heat my oven, I started a small fire in my fire pit and waited for most of the wood to break down into hot coals.
Once enough coals had formed, I placed the foundation of the oven on an iron rack to prevent it from cracking. Then, I floured the base so the bread would not stick to it. Next, I placed the dough directly in the center of the base to ensure even cooking, and then proceeded to put the lid on top.
While I complete the assembly of my oven over the fire and wait for the bread to bake, I will give a little background on the history of the Roman Klebanus. It is believed that this miniature oven was primarily used by Roman soldiers who struggled to keep fresh food while on the go. A small group of soldiers would all share a Klebanus, which would allow them to make bread for themselves. The oven was heated by placing it in a fire and then covering it with hot coals. However, according to the Roman cookbook Apicius, a Klebanus was not only used for baking bread, but could also be used for roasting foods such as chicken, dormouse, kidneys, and many more. Once the oven was assembled and the bread was inside, I proceeded to take some of the hot coals from the fire and spread them around the perimeter of the oven to maximize the temperature and give the dough the best chance of cooking, as you can see. Throughout history, many cultures have used cooking vessels that are very similar to that of the Roman oven. One that I think particularly shares a lot of similarities with the Klebanus is the Moroccan tagine. A tagine is essentially an ancient crockpot used for cooking stews or casseroles that dates back to the early Muslim conquests. In present day, the cooking pot and its traditional broth are primarily prepared in the Middle East and North Africa. I will now include a short clip of how a tagine is used.
Add the chicken over the onion bed and cover with any leftover sharmoula. Cooking the tagine. When cooking in a traditional tagine over the stove, use a heat diffuser to avoid burning and cracking the bottom of the tagine. On low-medium heat, place the diffuser first, then the tagine on top of it. Cook for around 15 to 20 minutes until the onions and chicken release their juices and the liquids start simmering. Then, reduce the heat to low. Very important. Make sure that the heat is low and cook until the chicken is tender. This can take 1 hour or more.
Now that approximately 30 minutes has passed, it's time to take the bread out of the oven. First, I clear some of the coals from on top of the oven and remove the lid. And what do you know? The bread actually came out pretty nice. All in all, I believe the Roman Klebanus is very interesting and still can be used effectively even today. Thank you.